Hello YouTube, this is Shirley426, and today we have the review of the HG Gundam AGE-1 Titus. Now, for those who don't know, I am a big fan of Gundam Age, and according to my friends out there, it's like its anniversary or something like that. It's basically an anniversary of Gundam Age series. I usually don't really calculate these kind of stuff, but I've been hearing and reading a lot of stuff on Facebook pages and stuff, so yeah. So coincidentally, which is why I'm also reviewing this kit. So apparently the Age kits are now getting more rare and rare these days. It's something I have been aware, but still, certain Age kits are still easy to find, like the Gundam AGE-1 is still pretty easy, and then I believe like the Age FX, I believe, is still, fairly, still okay to find them, but the Age Titus and the Age Spallo and a few other stuff are getting more hard to find these days. So, which is why I was able to, when Gundam Base actually had a reissue of these, I definitely grabbed one right away. And at this point, if they actually re-release the H1 Spallo HG kit and the MG version of this and Spallo, I think I might actually go get them right away. Alright, so let's get on to the review. So first of all, let's see what we got for components. So first of all, what you get, of course, is obviously the Gundam AGE-1 Titus itself. And then hand-wise, you only get these big giant fists. I really love those fists as well. And let's go over our usual typical leftover parts. So number one, here we have some leftover polycaps. Nothing too special going on there. Most of the time we do get some leftover polycaps. There's only a few kits I remember that actually uses all the polycaps. And here we have a sticker sheet going on here. We still have the same sticker sheet as the AGE-1 normal. We have the chest piece. We have the actually, if there's one missing, I believe it would be the sticker for the beam rifle, the DOTS rifle, because this one does not come with the DOTS rifle. So here we have the Age system chest. Here we have the eyes, and then here is the forehead, and here is the backhead camera sticker. So that's that. And then here we have the original shoulder joints of the AGE-1 normal, because for the Titus you actually use these new red ones as well. And then this one, well, I believe every Age kit came with these AGE-1 kits, because they do give you this. At first I wasn't aware of this leftover part, but this is basically what you use to make the AGE-1 flat. So if you want to have an AGE-1 flat Titus, you basically apply that white piece inside there instead of the sticker, and you should be good to go. And other than that, here we have some other stuff that you should be getting. Number one is a action-based hole cover that I just dropped. Sorry about that. So here we have the action-based hole cover right over here. Nothing too special about that. I usually don't use those. And here we have all these beam effect parts. So we get 2 beam rings. Now technically you would get 4 in terms of pieces, but you apply 2 each one to each other, so which is why you only get 2. And 2 is pretty much the only amount you're going to be using. So these are 2 of these. And then here we have 14 of these beams. I guess the proper term would be the beam spike effect parts. Yeah, we get 14 of these. They're all the same size and shape. Even the pegs are exactly identical, so no need to worry about which goes where. So you shouldn't be having any trouble or confusion on applying these onto the kit. So let me just get rid of those, just in case I lose any of them. Okay, so now let's see what we got for articulation. So, at this point, I have reviewed most of the Age kits. I did review the AGE-1, the AGE-1 full Glanza as well, and the Adels, and pretty much most Vega and Mobile Suit as well, maybe except for 1. So, or maybe 2, yeah, actually. Alright, so let's see what we got in terms of articulation. So, I would like to point out, for those who have the AGE-1 normal, the head and the main body is exactly the same build. There's no changes at all. The only changes, if I had to mention, would be these shoulder connectors here. So they were originally blue, but now you're using these red ones, which does bring the question. If I do wonder if the AGE-1 Spallo would actually have another piece, or would it be using the same thing? Who knows? But I'll find that eventually, I guess. And then let's see what we got for the head. So the head, as I mentioned, here we have this typical stickers. We have the eyes, we have the forehead sticker, and then here we have the back head camera. And here is the chest sticker I was talking about, so the Age system as well. So the head can go down that much, that's very good. Up that much, very nice. And then 360 should be no problem as well. Age kits, the quality of the Age kits in general are very good, so I really have I'm always happy to review them and build them. So the shoulders, despite how bulky they look, they are actually very articulated. So you can move forward and backward a lot. That's actually a very good amount, despite the size. And then 360 is no problem as well with the entire gigantic shoulder. But I do, as you guys just saw, do be careful when you're rotating, because the arms or the shoulder can collide with the back spoilers as well. And the arms, now technically this can go 90 degrees, but depending on how you move it, you are able to go slightly up more as well. But still, just looking at the basic stance, 90 degrees is pretty much you'll be getting for the side movement. That's that. And then on the lower arm itself, we do have a nice 360 going on here as well. And then the bend is pretty good. Although, because of the design, this is as far as you go. Now, hands, despite how big they look, they are just your typical ball jointed hands. And I believe the ball joint should be the same size as a regular, typical Gunpla hand kit as well. And let's see what we got. So for the beam spikes, this is where you plug them in, and as you guys saw on the peg and the hole here, they're not just round pegs, there are actually this extra square peg on them, so you don't get any confusions when applying the beam effect parts. And just to be clear, you are able to extend this part like this. They're actually on a slide gimmick. Granted, they are slightly stiff, but they work, and it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter where you have it out or not, because you can still apply the effect parts whether they're in or not out. So just wanted to point that out. All right, so that's that. Let me just close it back in. And for the beam ring, for the beam lariat, so you have to actually detach the hand and then detach this red piece. Come on, okay, and then you apply the ring onto this part and then close it with this and then reattach it. So attaching the beam ring might be a little bit annoying time to time, but still it works very well. Once you have it in there, you should have no problems. Now the main body, up to this point, I think most H kits or H1 HG kits I had no problems with the body. We have a decent kind of an ab crunch going on here, and then 360 is surprisingly possible. And yeah, and side to side, a little bit of side to side as well, but not too much. Now the front skirts, I'm not sure this should be counted as front skirts, but this is how it works, this is how it looks like. And we actually have a back skirt that actually moves. This is actually pretty uncommon when you think about it. So we have that, and yeah, if you want to, you can still store the Dots rifle on here if you want to. But we also have this latch here, which is technically for the AGE-1 Spallo, for the, I believe it was called the Shiguru blade. But yeah, that's for something else at this point. So you won't be using those in this kit because there's no Dots rifle included. Now for the side skirts, kind of a side skirts, we have this square block here, but it moves up and down, no problem, and no hindrance as well. And then for the legs, we still have the hinge system where it still moves both legs together, and then we still have that nice side swivel and can go to the side, not so much mostly because the design is blocking the way, so no big deal. And then the front skirts also come in a single connection with two ball joints connected, but I basically detached those as well. The back skirt is not the same case. It's actually just a straight line here, so I would not suggest you cut that. And then for the legs, can go almost 90 degrees, and then we have a nice bend and you can see the knee section here for the knee, the beam knee effect part. So that's really good. And then let's see what we got. And bend wise, we have a nice bend going on here. And then since the back skirt does move, you are, oops, sorry about that. You are able to go almost 90 degrees to the back, which is very good. And finally, the feet. Now the feet, they're not your typical ball jointed feet. They're actually like double jointed here. So the feet is actually connected to the ankle as a ball joint, if I remember correctly. And the top here is another peg connected to a polycap, which is why we have the top section moving here, and we can also move the bottom section separately if you want to do so. Which is why, despite how fat the legs look, we still have a nice pivot going on here. We don't have a toe bend in this feet, just to point that out. Alright, so we've seen the basic articulation here, and the kit is very good, despite how bulky it looks like, and it looks like it may not have any good articulation, but it actually does. And the color separation, I say they did an excellent job. The only stickers were the basic stickers that were pretty much the same as the AGE-1 normal, so yeah, job well done. And yeah, I'll be right back with the beam effect parts applied. Okay, I'm back. So I applied the beam spikes on the shoulder and on the knee for the left side, and then on the right arm I gave it the beam ring just to give you guys an idea. So currently I'm going with the tackling pose, and really love how this looks like. So it could be because of how bulky the arms look, and it really gives out that extra tackle feel going on here. Because among a lot of mold suits or in the Gundam series, we don't really see much mold suits that are based on like close combat, but in terms of design, because sure, we got the God Gundam or the Shining Gundam or other close combat Gundams that people typically think about, but they're still this typical same skinny or the same proportions as a usual mobile suit. But this one has like these massive arms and legs that are ready for combat. So I really love that aspect in terms of the design. So so tackling poses should be no problem as well, because how the body moves and works very well, which does give me a question. I wonder how better, or how the proportions are very different compared to Robot Damashi, because I have seen a lot of images with the Robot Damashi, and apparently it has some really different proportions here. But yeah, you can do a pretty nice tackling pose, or if you want to do the typical or the traditional knee kick, you can always do that as well. You just need to change a few poses. Whoops. Yeah, the ball joints, just be careful where or how you're moving the ball joints, because depending on how you move it, you may pop them out. And then for a knee kick, you can always do this as well. So really liking that knee kick. Just to be clear, I have never actually given a knee kick to anybody in person, so yeah. And for those who are wondering, yes, like in the series, especially from Gundam Age Season 2, you are actually able to apply these arms and legs, to connect these arms and legs to the Adele. Of course, you do need those red shoulder parts as well, because according to the manual or images that I've seen, those are also used on this. Alright, so we've seen those, and I think there's only one thing left to show you guys, so I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I applied all the beam effect parts onto the kit, and I believe they only use this form once, because this, in order to use this, they actually have to get rid of the limiter on the mobile suit. Hence, yeah, I'm pretty sure after you use all these, the mobile suit will pretty much be out of energy or worn out to fight. So this is actually a risky mode, but still it looks awesome. I really love how the beam spikes are coming out everywhere, and you can definitely tell the moment the user goes into this form, you're going to have a hard time defeating this guy. Anyway, yeah, everything works, nothing is too loose. Of course, the only loose part, if I had to point out something, would be one of these ring parts, because as I mentioned, these rings are actually composed of two parts, but you can see there's not much of a peg or hole system going on here, so I'm not exactly sure how they connect to each other, but still they do work, but one of them is slightly looser than the other one. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the review. So once again, if you're a big fan of the Gundam AGE series, I would definitely recommend this as well, because in the anime they really did a good job showing the action and combat scenes using the Gundam AGE Titus. And then overall, the kit quality, like most Gundam AGE quality kits, are very good, especially on the HG side. So it's worth trying it. And keep in mind, these kits are getting more rare these days, so it won't hurt you to get one at a decent price. Anyway, thank you for watching the review. This was the review of the Gundam AGE-1 Titus. If you guys got any questions or requests, leave a comment below. I still have more stuff to buy and build and make reviews out, so please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time.